What's up, guys? I'm gonna talk with y'all. This is important. I think it should be said. Okay, we're gonna talk about Iran. We're gonna talk about the Middle East. We're gonna talk about World War III if that this were to happen. Um, I'm gonna break it down for y'all so y'all can understand where I'm going with this. Number one, 55-year-old treaty has been scrapped, and we've done that before. We've done that in Iraq. Um, we've done that in, you know, that's what we do before we go to war. This is what we're looking at. Okay. Currently, Israel is they're under bombardment. They're getting very close to. They can make a cataclysmic mistake where many people die at one time. You know, they open fire on a group of people. People want guns. All that stuff, will come into play. What's going to happen is, though, now that the Russians have given the Syrians those S-300 missiles, I knew that was coming. What's going to happen is the Russians are going to send their Spetsnaz in to, teach them how to use these missile defense units. When they do this, and Israel goes in and tries to bomb them, there's going to be Russian, men that are lost, and Russians are going to be pissed. With that being said, the Iranians will then make a move, I'm sure. They'll move all their troops to probably mountainous areas. They'll send their guards to Syria as a backdoor defense. So if we did get involved, that would be a two-front war. And this is how this works. It's very smart, and that's why we're still in Afghanistan, honestly. So that they had to fight a two-front war. Sad part is mountains suck, and mountainous terrain, you have to get used to it. And then the U.S. Army, you have the 10th Mountain Division that goes into Colorado, and they have to train for high altitude. Getting your cardios right, getting your body subjected to high altitude deprivation, really. So with that being said, now you know why we're still in Afghanistan. I mean, poppies, of course. Do we have a opium shortage? Sure, but that could easily be averted. All we have to do is say, let me think. Vietnam, for instance. Bear aspirin will go in. They'll make a deal, and that'll be that. We'll buy from Bear aspirin. We'll be right off. Where this is going is, the way the S-300 missile system works. Right, there's a missile battery. This is a missile battery, right? So an airplane is going this direction. Okay. Now this S-300 missile system will catch that right away, and they'll send up a rocket. It's not the rocket you worry about, though, right? And there's more than one that they usually shoot, but being that we usually fly in what we call the hand of God, which is 5 planes or 4 planes and under. The Syrians and Russians and everyone knows this. They go to our air shows and they spy, so they know what we're doing. What they're going to do is, they're going to send up a missile, right? Now, these guys will break off. Here's a plane. Here's a plane. And they'll come back around. And they're going to circle, basically, try to get this thing off. This one, you need to get your target, and you have to finish your job. So this plane will go through and either try to bomb this, or if that's not what it's going for, it's going to try to go deeper into wherever it's going, penetrate airspace, and blow up planes or whatever they're blowing up. It's called this is called softening its zone. Okay. So this plane is going to go this way. S-300 system is smart because what it does is this missile will lock onto this one plane. It won't. It's not going to divert. So this plane's going to have to go into drastic maneuvers. The one with the payload usually they'll know by heat signature. That's how they do everything these days. Heat signature from the airplane's tail. What you'll see next, what would happen next, is evasive action from this plane, which is going to send it off course and probably further into enemy territory, or it's going to revert back and it's going to end up, getting blown out of the sky. It's a brilliant system, really, the way that they do it too. It's pretty smart. But here's the funny part. See, what we do here as Americans is we use our Navy. And with that being said, cruise missiles, they fly like this. They fly like this, okay? These are buildings these are homes, okay? When a cruise missile is sent by submarine, you could literally shoot it down. It is so close to the ground that you could literally fire at it and shoot it out of the sky. It's like, how do you know this? Well, maybe I've seen it. Maybe I haven't seen it. Maybe I have seen it. But I know for a fact that it's what it does. So we'll soften our targets by sea first. The problem is with this now is that when we do this, we're exposing our Navy. The Russians are going to be on it. I'm not worried about the Iranians, but what the Iranians will do is cut off the Suez Canal immediately. They'll try to choke off the world's oil. And they might even if they have a nuke, they'll probably lob it at Saudi Arabia, because that's their main nemesis. That's their, they hate Israel, but mentally and feasibly, they can't stand Saudi Arabia. They are everything that the Persians think that they're not. So that's that. I got you to the Suez Canal. Got you to the fast boats that the Iranians have. Okay. What we know is that the Russians sent 300,000 troops to an active role. Okay. That doesn't mean that they're in any specific country. That doesn't mean that they're going one way or the other. And what Putin does is he's a very, very, very great tactician. I love the way he works, and it's brilliant the way he does it. He really is a brilliant tactician. KGB all day. Gotta give the man credit. What Putin's gonna do is, check this out. When this goes down, wherever it goes down, they're going to say these people need relief. So they'll send relief trucks immediately, probably on a one of those big oil tank or crate, the big I forget what they're called, with the big tanks on them. What are they called? Crate carrier vessels. Okay, so when this happens, the Russians know what's going to go down. See, this is how they get their Spetsnaz in the area, and that's how they bring in their infantry. They bring in their infantry by showing a massive amount and then diverting the special forces through human goods, human rights, stuff like that. That's the way that they do it. It's how they've always done it since I've been a kid. What will happen then? What will happen then is, okay, the Russians are going to bring food, obviously. The people are going to be begging for munitions, all that stuff. You will see an attack, probably from the north, Syria, into Tel Aviv. If they don't do it that way, and they kind of have to, but if they didn't, let's say for fun that this was a FU to America, this would be crazy. They would go through the Dead Sea. They would probably park out of Cyprus area, and they'd activate, they'd lob some nukes or precision bombings towards the Tel Aviv area. You know, this won't be the Russians. The Russians will say that they didn't do it. It wasn't them. Again, this is what they do. This is how they work. If you're going to make a lie, make it good, make it believable. So the Russians will say they didn't do it, but we'll blame Iran anyway, and that's just the way that it'll work. And we'll go, and we'll probably have, hopefully by then, at least a Ford-class carrier group in the area. Hopefully. If we don't, then we missed out big, because that's going to be a real problem when we go back into the Suez. I don't want to think of that. The gas prices would be $10 in a day. America would have to immediately go into the Dakotas and drill immediately. They'd go into the reserves. They'd have no choice. What you'd see at this point is there's a pipeline that was built through Iran, through Pakistan, to China. They would make a deal with China, and China would make a deal with them to say, we need your help, blah, blah, blah. We've done the same thing in Afghanistan and Iraq. We tell them, you need us to make your petroleum to usable, and without us, you'll have oil, but you'll have no supply. You'll have no supply of what you're wanting to sell, is petroleum. So they'll make a deal with us, usually. Who knows, though? This is the wild, wild west of the world, and Iran could easily go into Iraq and say, you're under martial law. If you come out of your homes, we'll kill you. This is how this is going down. They have a feasible force, and they're able to do it. I would do it. If I was a commander of Iran right now, I would do it, because I would want to stretch my enemy thin once that they've made their attack move. But Iran, they're waiting on something else. I don't know. Something else big. They're going to do something big. Now, what... Well, I just don't get... We'll get to that. Alright, right. So the F-22s, F-35s are now stationed in Israel. Saudi Arabia is believed to have them as well. They're on the back door of, Syria and, where they need to be. Oman's going to play a big part in this too. We've been in Oman. Our JSOC's been in Oman doing their thing. Yeah, so let me finish up here. What we're looking at here is a mass incident which will turn everybody's eyes to the television, I guess you could say. They don't want people outside. When 9/11 happened, in my thinking, obviously there was something bigger that was going on at that time. There might have been a crashed UFO. Who knows? We would never know. Never know. Because they used 9/11 as a scapegoat. That's hard to believe, probably, for some people, and that's fine. I can get it. I can dig you. I got you. It's cool. Now, what you're not gonna like is that Malaysian flight. That Malaysian flight has bothered me since day one, to go missing like that, and that will be used. Someone's gonna put a nuke on that thing, or some sort of device that will be a major detonation over a highly populated area. I call it my Dark Knight theory, because in Dark Knight, they had like 3 or 4 container trucks, right? And they're driving them around the city all at the same time, and we have to choose. Well, in the sky, it's pretty much the same thing, where there's so many planes up there at the same time that we would never be able to catch that at the right time. We'd never be able to catch a flight that I don't want to say doesn't exist, but you'll see. It's not going to be good, though. People need to be ready. They know it. Obviously, we know something's going on. They're testing our phones. They're testing everything. Choppers running around like it's... we're back in Iraq. Come on now. There's nothing going. Supposedly, there's nothing going on. So why are they driving? Why are they doing missions? Or missions, right? Over populated areas in America, as if we're going to war with somebody. You don't do that unless you are, and I guess we'll see what happens. I'm out. Guys, be careful. Thanks.